Welcome to another Crossbody of Work Mini-Sode. My name is Evan.
I am Javier.
And a Mini-Sode, as opposed to our regular Crossbody of Work podcast episodes where we cover a wrestler's career through 5 matches, this we look at just one match. And for this special first YouTube Mini-Sode, it's not one match, but it's one concept.
It's a concept with a collection of things.
We're looking at the first and thankfully only Brawl for All tournament. It's a bad idea. We're just gonna put that out there first. It's a bad idea.
I feel like nowadays it might be decent because they've got a lot of like people who come from a legit fighting background that might be cool. But also they left a legit fighting background because they probably didn't want to do legit fighting anymore. So,
for those of you who are unaware, the Brawl for All tournament was in 1998, and it was a shoot fighting tournament that was a mix of boxing and like a kind of bit of mixed martial arts. Like you could do takedowns, but you couldn't do anything after the takedown. And it was that featuring WWF wrestlers. And apparently it was like you could opt in to the tournament. Let's talk about the background before we dive into the match. So there was a bunch of big roster increase in WWF in 98. And they had a lot of like genuine tough guys. And so they're like, hey, let's have like a tough man contest, because tough man contests around the world and the US were really popular at the time. And according to JBL, Vince Russo came up with the idea because JBL said that they should do a hardcore division, which sounds hilarious that Bradshaw was in for a hardcore division. He seems like the guy who would hate hardcore wrestling.
I don't know. I mean, I think the thing with him is he probably... Listen, first off, Bradshaw's all about business. He sees how probably FMW and all these other ECW and all these promotions are coming up. And he's like, I think that would be a good business deal. But also maybe he sees it as, I get to probably legitimately fuck some dude up during a match if I'm a part of this. And JBL's a bully piece of shit. So
this is also true. So Vince Russo came up with the tournament, and it's because Bradshaw claimed he could beat anyone in the roster in a bar fight. And apparently it was voluntary entirely. Each match, 3 1-minute rounds. Whichever wrestler connected with the most punches per round got 5 points. A clean takedown goes 5 points. A knockdown is worth 10. If a wrestler was knocked out, deciding by an 8 count instead of a 10 count, except for the final, we'll talk about that, the match ended. And this was a vehicle for one man in particular to get over. Do you remember who that man was?
Dr. Death Steve Williams.
He was the favorite for the title. He was a legitimate tough guy, former football player, MMA guy, like all this stuff. And the idea was to have this tournament to build him up for a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hardcore Holly even claimed that Steve Williams had already been paid the $100,000 prize money before this first match against Bart Gunn, one of the Smoking Guns.
The lesser of the Smoking Guns.
Well, that's up for debate, but...
Is it?
No, not anymore. Billy Gunn is so much more popular. So to get to this second round match, Bart Gunn won by decision over Bob Holly, and Steve Williams got a TKO on Quebecer Pierre. I'm going to just run through some of the other people that we're not going to see during this, just so you know that they were also in here. Dan Severn beat the Godfather on points and then withdrew from the tournament because he had nothing to prove, because he's legitimately an MMA fighter. He did not get... Ken Shamrock wasn't even in it. 8 Ball and Scorpio fought, which is a wild concept. Scorpio being our boy Too Cold Scorpio, he won.
Yes, sir.
Savio Vega was in this. Mark Mero was in it. Steve Blackman was in it. Road Warrior Hawk was in it. But we're looking at what is the longest match of the 3 that we're going to cover between Steve Williams and Bart Gunn. What did you think of the boxing in this one?
Steve Williams cannot throw a punch to save his life.
How is he the favorite?
Hilarious. This is a YouTube episode, so I'm actually able to like diagram this. So he is just like, he's all about, I'm going to get in your air pocket, which is good. The closer you get to someone, the more opportunities you have to actually land punches on them. The issue then becomes, from this point, with Steve Williams specifically, is the fact that the way that he's throwing punches, because by the way, he's down, like he's not as tall as Bart Gunn.
Yeah,
Bart Gunn
he's also going like this.
Bart Gunn's like 3-4 inches taller than him. But also, Steve is going in for punching like this. He's punching like he's a fucking suburban housewife doing her goddamn, like, aerobics with the
yeah.
little weights. Just like that. What is that, man? What is that?
It's a good dance move if you're ever stuck.
Just give me a minute.
So, like you said, he's trying to get in the pocket and like punch up, and Gunn is just swinging. Gunn has powerful punches, and he is just swinging. Right? At one point he throws a left that spins him around in the first round. Like
he fucked up Bob Holly, by the way. Bart Gunn
he did
in the first round matchup.
He decisioned
Dr. Death does get a takedown right away. Like as soon as the fight starts, right away gets a takedown. It's 5 points because the scoring on this is absolutely stupid.
Yes. Round 2, Dr. Death has the exact same strategy. Get in close, go for takedown attempts. He like tries one, doesn't quite get it. Gunn gets a takedown, and I don't know if it's this one or the next one that he gets, but one of these takedowns legitimately tears the hamstring of Dr. Death.
Oh, no. I did not know that.
Yes. After 2 rounds, Dr. Death is up 15-5 unofficially. This is like how they're scoring.
Okay, so I know how the scoring goes, so I could explain why. So you get 5 points for a takedown. You also get 5 points for most punches thrown in a round. So Bart's got 5 because he had the takedown. And then Dr. Death threw more punches in the first in both rounds, and then he got a takedown, so that's 15.
Yeah. It is punches per round, like connected with the most punches, not just thrown. You have to connect.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he was throwing the most punches too.
He was throwing, he was all volume. So then we go to the third round.
Bart gets a takedown.
Yep, Gunn gets takedown. Boring chants are rolling out, which was very common during the Brawl for All. The second one is potentially the takedown that tears the hamstring of Dr. Death. And then Bart Gunn unloads.
He starts throwing bombs at this man.
He ends up hitting a left hand to Dr. Death with 5 seconds on the clock, and that was it. He was out.
Bro, it was just one left hook, just boom, out cold. Out cold.
So now their favorite is out. So now Bart Gunn has won a decision. We need to get to the finals. Bart Gunn would make it to the finals. He would KO the Godfather with an incredible punch. You should just watch that clip. Also, we have an episode on the Godfather. By the time this came out, it came out last week. You should go and listen to it. It's really good.
Go listen to it. Go watch it if you want. It's on here too.
It's on YouTube here. Keep doing that. He would go to the finals against Bradshaw, the bar fighting son of a gun, who beat Henry Godwin, Mark Merrow, and Draws all on points to get to the finals.
Mark Merrow's a bitch for that, by the way. A boxer who loses. Come on, man.
So our next one is Bart Gunn versus Bradshaw in the finals. Bradshaw is getting booed heavily because, I don't know, vibes.
He hasn't knocked anyone out.
Also, HBK is weirdly on commentary for this.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was a note of mine too. I was like, is that Sean on commentary?
Why is Sean here? Why is Sean on commentary? This is a quick one. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah, so Bradshaw starts off by just throwing jabs, just quick little check jabs.
Bradshaw has the same punches, I assume, that like every football, like high school football coach would throw. Like they're just like big swings and they're all up. Like they're just like over top is how he's trying
it's
to
just
punch
overhead.
people.
Overhead punches. So he starts throwing some jabs and then he follows that up with he just starts literally swinging with power, like reckless abandon.
Yeah.
And then there's just one point here where like he gets hit with a tough left to the side of the head by Bart. It's the first punch that Bart connects with, just boom right here. And then Bart catches Bradshaw with a mean overhand right, just literally boom, follows that up with a left hook, knocks down Bradshaw. Doesn't knock him out, knocks him down.
Bradshaw's down. He gets up. Referee Jack Jones asked him if he's okay, if he's good to go. He's up at the count of like 8. Which is weird because it said it was an 8 count, but he's up at 8, and he gets up, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm good to go." Bart Gunn walks back up, left, right,
like literally, just nothing else. Goddamn hesitation.
Left hook, right hand, Down again, sack of potatoes.
Done. Out cold. He hits his head on the rope and everything. Like, he's done.
Bart Gunn looks so legit. Bart Gunn looks so incredible at this point.
The crazy thing about it is he's like very stiff. So he's like generating so much power because of it.
Yeah.
Like the way he's throwing these punches, it's like, it's literally just like boom and then bang. Just like, it's fucking crazy.
So Bart Gunn wins the Brawl for All tournament. And that's on August 24th of 1998. After winning the tournament, he was still under contract with WWF. He was actually offered a contract from All Japan because Giant Baba took interest in hiring Gunn because he knocked out Dr. Death, who was a big deal in All Japan. And like in Japan in general, Dr. Death was like a longtime main eventer. He had a strong reputation. So Baba wanted to bring him over to be like,
machine over there.
Yeah, he wanted to bring him over to be like, hey, we're gonna put you up against Steve Williams. Like we're gonna run this, and you have a reputation because you knocked out like one of the toughest guys that's in our country. So he would actually sign with them in October 98, and his debut would be announced in November 1st, 1998 edition of All Japan TV and make his debut that month. Now you're thinking, hey, Evan, I know that Bart Gunn has one other boxing match under his belt. And you're right. And here's how we got to that point. February 99, Bart Gunn would return to WWF to fulfill his contract obligations because he still had some stuff to do. He feuded with Bob Holly, who was then Hardcore Holly, because he had beaten him in the tournament. He feuded with Steve Williams because he'd beaten him in the tournament. And then they're like, how can we really put a bow on this whole Brawl for All experience? And that answer was WrestleMania 15. Let's have him go up against Butterbean, a.k.a. Eric Esch. Oh, my God. For
those who don't know, Butterbean is a legit boxer.
He is a former strongman with a combined fighting record of 97, 24, and 5 with 65 knockouts.
Yeah, he's a legitimate boxer.
He's also 5'11", 378 pounds.
Yeah, he's like a sideshow, but he's a boxer.
He looks like The Thing if he was allowed to have skin.
Jesus Christ, man.
He looks like Michael Chiklis if all he ate was raw chicken.
Alrighty then.
He's a mountain of a person. It's insane. He should be Otis's dad.
Don't give Vince any ideas.
Shoosh. Before we talk about it, this is a terrible idea, right?
It's awful. They're mixing up in a shoot situation. They're putting a like legitimately legendary figure in the boxing community, not for his professional boxing repertoire, but because he's like to boxing what like Kimbo Slice was to MMA. You know, that's basically what Butterbean was. And so just like putting him out there, it's just not fair. You know, it's like Evan. Like, what if you were entered into like a bare knuckle brawling tournament and somehow you managed to win it? Not that
would be incredible.
Discounting your fighting abilities.
You should. You should.
You're not a fighter. You're a lover. You're not a fighter. And let's say you did all that, and then they're just like, okay, you win this bare knuckle brawling tournament. Let's put you against fucking former 3-time bare knuckle brawling champion Wade Barrett. You know,
I would figure out how to get my head between my legs and kiss my ass goodbye.
Or like Baron Corbin. You know?
Did you ever like were you a fighter? You a boxer? Did you do any fighting?
The only time I've ever been, I've been in exactly one fight.
Okay.
That wasn't my brother. And
fair.
I don't know. I just kind of like held the guy. Like I didn't actually throw a punch. I just like the person threw a punch. I caught their arm and then I just kind of like brought them to the ground. And I
have been in approximately 0 fights, as you can believe, based on everything about me. But to the point where like, here's an example. I don't know if I told the story on the podcast previously, but if I have, too bad. We're at this like fair that happens in my town, like just like a fall fair, happens every year. And there were these guys from another high school, and they were apparently talking shit about one of the guys from our high school. And so one of the guys from our school came over and was like, we're going to go and like confront these guys from this other school. And he's like going down the road. It's like, you come with me, you come with me, you come with me. And he gets to me and he goes, you stay with the girls, you come with me. And I was like, That sounds like a great idea. I will be like the house mom for this this group of girls.
I will be the protector
Yeah,
of the ladies.
I was like, I'm the last line of defense. They're like, no, they thought you'd get your shit kicked out of you. And I was like, you're right, I would have. And I don't want that. So I'm good. So a
Also
bunch of
saved you from having
non-fighters,
a talk with your mom about fighting.
a bunch of non-fighters, but we can see that this fight is a bad idea. So, you know, this doesn't last long at WrestleMania 15.
Yeah, I mean, look, it starts and then immediately Butterbean hits a 1-2 combo that legitimately turns Bart around.
Yes, like clocks him.
He turns around. He's like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Huge right hand knocks down Bart, and you can like Bart is going to get up. He's got to the count of 10. Bart is going to get up, but you can see him reevaluating everything he's ever done as he just stares.
He just doesn't
into
see
the
it
void.
coming. He literally doesn't see it coming. Butterbean's got some fast fucking hands, man.
Yes,
like it's just body shot, body shot, body shot, body shot, body shot, overhead right, and he's just back on the and Bart Gunn falls back on the ropes, and it's like I barely fucking saw it, and I'm watching it from a third fucking eye perspective here, you know?
Bart, like I said, gets up, tells the ref, I'm good to go. And just like Bradshaw, what happens to our boy, our hero, Bart Gunn?
Butterbean comes in, closes the gap, and just fucking... just one jab, just body jab right there with the left, overhand right hook. Clean. He's done. Bart Gunn's done.
WrestleMania 15 was the first WrestleMania I ever watched. I remember it, and I also remember being obsessed with Butterbean. I thought he was the coolest person. He looks hilarious. He looks like he's just a big guy, and yet his hands were so fast, and he killed that man in my estimation. So I thought it was awesome. It was not awesome for Bart Gunn. They put him in a terrible position to succeed. Everyone got mad at it. Like Jim Cornette hates the Brawl for All. A bunch of people hate it. The number of wrestlers who got hurt during Brawl for All, Godfather, Steve Blackman, Hawk, Savio Vega, and Brackus all got hurt along with Dr. Death. Like, is not a good idea. But this is
Dr. Death, his career was basically over because of the Brawl for All.
Yeah, but this is the biggest problem I have with this. Everything WWE is meant to do is to make us believe that these matches and fights that we see every day matter and are real. If you're telling me that this is more real than what you show me every week, then what you show me every week is shit.
Yeah.
It's the same problem I had, and this sounds weird to compare, with Raw Underground. If you are telling me this is the gritty real stuff, why isn't all of it like that? Like if you're trying to present this with realism, I get that there's a part of wrestling that is the suspension of belief. Like I understand that. But why are you actively working against your product?
It just doesn't make any sense to me. You know what's really good? The Dark Side of the Ring episode on the Brawl for All was pretty fucking cool. They do interviews really with good. Like pretty much so many different people that were involved in this in some capacity, and they just kind of shit on it because they should have shit on it because the Brawl for All was a stupid fucking idea. It led to some really cool knockouts, which I kind of appreciate as a fighting fan. But also, like, I didn't need to see Butterbean knock the fuck out of Bart Gunn and legitimately end his career. Because I don't know what Bart Gunn did after the fact as far as his career in pro wrestling goes. But I can tell you that I don't know it because he got knocked the fuck out by Butterbean.
All Japan Wrestling from 98 to 2002, including some like a revenge angle on Dr. Death. Or with Dr. Death, he was trying to get revenge. A TNA stop for a little bit in 03, and then New Japan for a little bit longer, and he would retire around 2006. So, also, I just did a little math. How many people that participated in the Brawl for All tournament, which again ran from like June to August, how many people do you think had a spot on the actual WrestleMania 15 card, which happened just at like another, 6 months later?
So Hawk, I'm going to assume to LOD.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Because I'm not
Godfather?
counting Nope. Because he was on the Heat Battle Royal.
Oh shit! I forgot about the Heat Battle Royal.
Yeah.
It's not JB. None. Is it none? Except for Bart Gunn?
It's 2. Bart Gunn included.
Okay.
It's Bart Gunn and Hardcore Holly.
What's Hardcore Holly in?
He is in a triple threat against Al Snow and Billy Gunn for the Hardcore title, which we covered in our Hardcore Holly episode. Go and listen to that. Brawl for All is a terrible idea. You shouldn't do it. Hope we all learned our lesson from this week's Mini-Sode.
Also, just comically big gloves, by the way.
The biggest fucking gloves.
Comically fucking big ass gloves. They look like goddamn Lego hands, but fully closed.
The biggest goddamn gloves in the world. I got nothing else to say about Brawl for All. What about you?
I got nothing else to say about the Brawl for All either. Sucked, and don't do it again.
Thanks for joining us on our first YouTube episode of the Mini-Sodes. We will be back every once in a while to look at some one-off matches or concepts or weird things that have happened in the world of wrestling. Javier, where can people find you on social media?
I'm on the Twitter machine at JMello Sports. If you follow the main account, it's in the bio of that main account.
You can follow me on Twitter at @7gomes, ITSEVANGOMES. Same thing. It's in the bio of the main account. Most importantly, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram and right here on YouTube at Crossbody Work. Go hit subscribe. It's probably somewhere down there. Go hit like. It's probably somewhere over here. That's probably about right. Go do that. That'll help us out tremendously. And like I said, we're back usually every Wednesday with a YouTube content and every Saturday with our usual content where we take a wrestler's career and break it down through looking at 5 of their most important matches. At the time that this episode goes live, our next wrestler to cover, I need to look. Our next wrestler to cover is, lo and behold, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, an important member of the Brawl for All legacy.
And unfortunately, someone that we're probably going to drag through the mud at the end of this episode because of the Brawl for All.
But his first stuff is going to be fantastic. So get ready for the Steve Williams episode. Go listen to our Godfather episode. Check out all our other YouTube content. Thanks for joining us for a Mini-Sode. We'll be back again soon. We'll talk to you then.
Bye.